It's her beaming smile and it's infectious. You might fall in love with her again and again for her curls, trims, and bright big hoop earrings that became part of her bold statement in the mid 1990s. And think that all of that was amazing, but the very next day she can still surprise you with an intense and fiercely enduring cop, Kasturi Dogra, in Aranyak, and also show us the secrets of snarky fashion designers and snub promoters of the fashion industry in sharp opposite a young 25-year-old gawky kid, riding high on an astounding success of KGF 2, where she played the role of Prime Minister Rimika Sen. She is today India's most respected film star who has just been conferred with the fourth highest civilian honor. It's none other than the must girl who shot many a people dead with her piercing bullets, akhiyon se goli mare.
What an absorbing career that you have had over the last 30 years, and many congratulations to you for being feted with India's fourth highest civilian honor, Padma Shri. From Ravishing Raveena to Padma Shri Raveena, which is the more gratifying between the two now?
From being the Padma Shri awardee, Raveena, and starting with Ravishing Raveena, I think Ravishing Raveena will be something that will always stay on, and has been with me since the past 32 years. But now the Padma Shri awardee Raveena has come in. So I think it's Sone Pe Suhaga, you can say, and I will always cherish being Ravishing Raveena as well, because that is something that I was recognized with from such a long time. And now with the Padma Shri coming in, I think it is just a gratification, it's a full culmination of the entire body of work that has been for all these years.
This title, Padma Shri today, that actually honors your incredible contribution to the Hindi film industry, to the civil society, either as a wildlife photographer, as a doting mother who has set a benchmark for many young women to follow your footsteps. The list of the films that actually empower today's women, where you portray character of, let's say, Satta, Matra, KGF 2, which is the more enterprising role that you think led to this award in your career as well?
I honestly think that I have been around for a very long time. In fact, a lot of reactions that came on my Twitter feed were like, what, you haven't got it yet? And it was long overdue, congratulations. So most of them kind of said that.
Right.
But nonetheless, I think it's been a culmination of all the socially relevant films that I have done over the years. We did a film called Daman in the year 2000, where marital rape was not even heard of. It was not the topic of conversation. And now, 23 years later, Daman still holds so relevant,
right,
because it's still being debated in the Supreme Court.
Correct.
There are pros and cons of every law, and sometimes it can be misused. So I understand the not a dilemma really, but I do understand the varied kind of arguments that are coming to and fro about it. But nonetheless, I think we need these kind of laws to protect our women. And we spoke about marital rape in the year 2000, that was 23 years ago.
Right.
So that was a film much before its time.
Right.
And then yes, the Nirbhaya case shook the entire nation.
Correct.
And I feel public memory is very, very short, because somehow we all kind of forget what has happened and what is happening. And somewhere we kind of again lose momentum to the kind of action that has been taken.
Correct.
It dies out in conversation. And to keep people aware, I did a film like Matra, which again brought about the topic of rape and how heinous it is, and how we can and what we can do to prevent, and how we can fast track our laws as well.
Absolutely.
There was a film called Jago again, which kind of dealt with a similar
Right.
subject. Then there was Satta, of course, which spoke about politics. Then there was Shool, which spoke about corruption
Right.
in our bureaucratic system. So somewhere along the line, I have always chosen films like that. And then came Aranyak, which was a web series,
Correct.
which also I chose against a lot others that were offered to me, because of the fact that it dealt with women empowerment. It spoke about all the women in uniform, the sacrifices women have to make,
Right.
which is not expected normally out of a man. But a woman is expected to look after her children, her home, her in-laws, and handle everything. पूरे घर गृहस्थी का जो responsibility जिम्मेदारी है वो उनके कंधों पे आ जाती है.
Correct.
And she has to sacrifice her career even though she's excelling in it.
Right.
So we spoke about that and how families need to come together to help their women achieve their dreams.
Absolutely.
So this is something like a combined effort of me constantly at every given point trying to do films that are socially relevant and that speak about a certain message.
From a young girl who used to wear the hoop earrings, I mean, my at least memories of a young journalist in late 90s and 2000 when I began my career were seeing you wearing those hoop earrings, ribbons or hairbands, putting your eyelashes on, and a very cute looking girl. From there on, changing that image to a mature looking sari clad woman at the young age of 27, opposite Manoj Bajpayee.
Yeah, Shool, yeah.
I remember, I think I was in the early stages of my journalism as well. And then seeing you at this sudden transformation from 21 to 27 at such a rapid pace, was it incredible? I mean, for any journalist to see and measure your career, even if you were political or investigative journalist, but we saw you sizing up your roles like this. Not many would have imagined to be this mature. Conventional wisdom would suggest that you would go for chunkier roles to look glamorous, but you chose also to find your moorings in these roles.
You know, it was a conscious effort, Rohan, to be honest. It was a very conscious effort because there was a time where, you know, as an actor, now I feel kids are luckier because in their 5th or 6th film they can, you know, kind of do experimental roles because our cinema has opened out.
Right.
At that time we were pretty stereotyped. So it was very important for me to break through those shackles of stereotyping myself of just playing
Correct.
this fun-loving and doing comedy kind of films, and I wanted to challenge myself as an actor. So I think in the year 1999, I kind of made a conscious effort to do films like Ghulam-e-Mustafa, Aks, Shool, Satta, and I kind of scored in that and I kind of was accepted. So I think I was one of those very few heroines, probably the only one, who had releases like a Dulhe Raja in one theatre and then had a release Shool. Then there was Akhiyon Se Goli Mare and there was a Satta. There was an Aks and there was a Daman. So there were these contrasting roles that I was doing since then, and I've continued that to do so even now. If you see me in Aranyak and then you see me in KGF too.
Right.
So they're completely two different people that you meet.
So in the pecking order, how would you place Padma Shri in these big scheme of things, the meaty roles that you did at such a young age?
Obviously on tops, and I mean that is. It's just that I wish my dad was alive to see this, though I do feel yes, he's seeing it somehow.
But
there are no words to express.
In fact, Raveena, on that note, I must also share that you struck a very emotional chord by sharing the Prime Minister's note on your father's demise as well. That note also spoke overwhelmingly about your father's impression on you and also his own career in the film industry, how he left an indelible impression on you as a bright kid that you went on to become. That Prime Minister's note was also a very solid expression.
So that was so brilliantly and well written, as if he actually knew what my life was all about and how influenced, because he spoke about how Sanskriti and the morals and the values that my father has taught me and how I've stood by that all these years. So that was something which was very, very highly appreciated from me, my entire family and everyone who knew. I think it was very touching, and that was probably something that really, it warmed our heart at such a sorrowful time.
You are one of those incredible women who have led the motherhood and also sort of led your own roles with a lot of gravitas, poise, which is actually something extraordinary for an actor to do that, managing the family life and private affairs and also professional life. With this Padma Shri, do you actually think that India has not begun to see you as a formidable nationalist and a feisty woman who wants to serve her country with clarity of thoughts? Because I often read your tweets, they're very aggressive in where you want to protect your home turf, take on those people with a lot of mighty aggression who want to foment terror in this country. I remember some of the recollections from your tweets, which actually speaks volumes about your commitment to the welfare of the country and protecting the borders and the frontiers of this country, and also the same nationalist and aggressive tone when you took on one of the actors. I don't want to name that actor, but in 2015 when you slammed that actor by saying on his loose remarks on ill tolerance, saying that someone wants to leave his motherland barely 1 year after the Modi government wants to break that government.
See, for me, it was during the entire intolerance debate. For me, it was very, very clear that my country came first. The integrity of my country came first. On a global perspective, whenever India has probably gone through a few incidents where yes, there has been racism, or there has been, yes, it is shameful. We have to make our masses aware that that is not what our country is all about, or what the principles are.
Right.
So that is something that I have always been very, very strongly patriotic, and I think I get that from my father again.
Correct.
Since childhood. And even now, whether I'm on the beach or here or there, anywhere, and I hear the national anthem, I freeze in my tracks, and I make sure everyone around me gives the due respect that we are supposed to give. So when this entire India is intolerant debate came about,
Right.
I said, do you know that there is statistically much more racism in the UK or in the US than there is in India?
Right.
Besides that, have you ever heard any of the senators or any of the UK House, Parliament House MPs stand up and say UK is intolerant or the US is intolerant? They will never bring their country down.
Correct.
They will say, yes, such an incident happened. There was intolerance in a certain section or in a certain pocket of people,
Right.
and we will combat this.
Absolutely.
And we will stick together as a united country because our country has been great. And that is what is the feeling that came about.
Absolutely.
That you don't blame an entire country
Right.
by just generalizing and panning it and saying India is intolerant.
Correct.
No. There are incidents that do happen which are shameful, which should be condemned,
Right.
undoubtedly.
Right.
But do not club the entire country as that and make that the global perspective for people to argue and degrade this country further than already the kind of complexes that they have as far as our country is concerned. Because I don't think they see the way we are rising.
Correct.
I mean, statistically, if you look around, just day before yesterday, I was seeing an entire poll of recession all globally, and India is the only country which has zero recession so far. So which is, I think, just highly creditable, and I don't think a lot of countries out there can see this
Correct.
power forming.
Correct.
Which is India.
Absolutely.
And hence do not give out the wrong message.
Right.
मतलब वो बोलते हैं ना, घर की बेदी लंका ढाए
Correct.
वाली बात है.
Correct.
तो जो अपने घर में है उसको तुम अपने घर में रखो, अपने घर को सुधारो.
Absolutely.
लेकिन दूसरों के सामने अपने घर के पर्दे उतारने की जरूरत नहीं.
From the time when you were being featured in the roles in Pardesi Babu, Dule Raja, Akhiyon Se Goli Mare, Raja Ji and Nari Number 1, you also sort of took a decision to marry a businessman despite the offers from the men in this industry as well. How do you look back at these choices, or the preferred choices and considered choices that you made?
I think taking my girls in at 21 was the best thing I did in my life. I think for me it was very, very necessary to be able to go through this whole gratifying experience of motherhood right in the beginning, because I think I was born to be a mother. Everyone used to tell me that, you always want to take care of things. So whether it was stray puppies, kittens, birds, anything that came to me, I was there looking after it. So I had been doing this kind of working for orphanages and stuff with my mum for a very long time.
Correct.
And nonetheless, so at every given point, we'd see a small baby that was abandoned, or a baby girl that was left in a bin or something, and I would tell my mom, I want to adopt. Can I take this child home? Can we take this child home? So the minute I turned 21, I knew legally I could be able to do that. I did that.
Absolutely.
And I think it's one of the best things that I've done. Yes, marrying Anil at the point where, again, nobody would think of just kind of giving up everything and getting married, because in those days probably it was not as easy what it is now. Now it's much more accepted, but that was, I do believe there's a right time for everything, and there's a right person for everything, and I think the right time and the right person came along, and luckily I think I made the wise decision of doing that. So
Correct. If I may be a little cheeky here, your two sari songs...
you've already been too cheeky.
I will continue with that. Your two sari songs in the 90s, with a lot of sultry grammar and expressions, also exposed many a young Indian to the kinky side of a otherwise comely, chirpy girl who was otherwise seen in those lovely cute big earrings which I talked about, pretty hairbands and sunglasses. From Tumko Jo Dekhte Hi Pyar Hua to Tip Tip
Are you
Barse Pani.
seriously asking me this question?
Or Aahu Aahu opposite Sunny Deol were also two songs.
They were sensual songs, yes. There was nothing very overtly sexual about it. I always believe that there's a thin line between sexuality, in-your-face sexuality, and sensuality. And I do believe that you can look sexy, it's all there in the expression. You can look sexy even if you're wearing a sari or you're wearing entire covered up outfit. It's all there in the eyes. So that's what acting is all about, I guess.
So what was it like, those two songs used? Are they still part of
I was a little conscious. In fact, I think one of the producers, Shabir, also gave an interview that first she had said no to do the song, Tip Tip. And then I was very clear that my sari will not come off, this will not come off, that will not happen, this will not happen, there'll be no kissing, there'll be no nothing. So there were a lot of cross marks rather than tick marks on that song. Right. And eventually we came up with something that was Tip Tip, which was a correct balance of, like I said, sensuality more than anything else.
Raasha and Ranbir Vardhan, your two kids, who's more like you and where does the Thadani family now want to see them when you or your husband grow old?
Well, we would like to see them as successful human beings rather than materialistically successful human beings, and successful as good people, and probably sharing goodwill amongst people whom they work with or their friends and their families. So that is how we've tried to bring them up. Undoubtedly, they are pretty sorted in their heads. They are pretty stable. They know what they want to do. My daughter is now giving her 12th board exams, so she's on the way to deciding her future very soon after the 12 boards get over. My son is still young, he's 15, he's still in the 9th, so he has a long way to go. But like I said, as parents, we will always support them. We will always guide them towards what is right and what is wrong.
Who's more like you?
I wouldn't say, I think both of them are kind of like me, and my son has a little more of his dad in him. But he, as the way he looks exactly like my dad, like how my dad was younger. And like I said, as parents, we'll always tell them what's right and wrong. Ultimately, we will let them live their dreams and pursue their passions. And as long as they are happy in their workplace is what we would love, what we would wish for.
Your digital screen debut, Raveena ji, as a cop, and then second Kannada movie as a blockbuster with you as a protagonist of a Prime Minister. What's next and what lies ahead of this now?
Well, there's a lot that comes ahead. Yes, the sequels will be coming soon of everything that you've just mentioned. I'm hoping for KGF 3 as well, keeping my fingers crossed. But nonetheless, there is a lot more. There is another show and another couple of movies that I have just done. So nowadays, everyone waits to promote and announce on their own, so I will not be able to spill the beans yet. But yes, there's a lot of good work and great work coming up, and I'm looking forward to, our audiences kind of respecting my decisions as far as choosing films go and giving me the same love that they have given all these years.
But is there a day when we may see you wearing political colors and then also sort of taking a political leaning and a stand into with any political
At the moment, not yet, because like I said, I do have my, my thoughts, and I feel I'm a little more active as far as, being, I'm not a person who's on the fence. I'm actually at that point either here or there. But I still haven't really been inclined to A, B, C kind of a particular party that, okay, this ideologies are the most amazing ideologies and this is what I'm going to follow. So as a free voice right now, and the fact that I am busy with my shoots at the moment and being a free voice at the moment, right, and not towing any party line is what is my preferred stance at the moment.
The Reckoning who have actually impressed you either by their character or by the show?
A lot of them. But now as election time is around the corner, I don't think I would like to speak about it.
One last question. Would there also be a day when we would see your young daughter and you featured together in your film?
I have no idea, but never say never, probably. Thank you, Rohan.
It's been wonderful talking to you. Congratulations on being conferred with the India's 4th highest.
Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Many more years of success to you.
Thank you. I need that.